Okay, so the Arizona Coyotes. Uh,
I hate them, bro.
they've had a tough couple years here. Obviously, last year was not a good one for them. They finished dead last in the West, and I believe third. Ottawa and Buffalo were below them in the entire
Yeah.
league standing. So obviously they didn't have a great year. Um,
Actually, no. They finished fifth. No. I know that the Habs finished worse than them, actually. The Habs
well,
were
point wise, they did
for.
not.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
Arizona got
Did the,
70 points and the Habs got 71. You want to fucking fight me on
wait,
the
what?
math? 71
Did
is
they?
higher than 70. Are we going to fight
No.
right now?
Really?
Yeah.
What the f?
Yeah.
Yo, Arizona got shafted this
Yeah,
last then.
absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, they had a very tough season. Obviously, they've been in shambles for the last couple of years. They have that young GM. You'd expect things to start turning around for them. I do think that right now they got rid of a few bigger names that might have been locking up some money on the cap. So they got rid of Zach Ronaldo, Luke Shen, Max Domi, obviously in that big trade, Freddie Hamilton. They lost quite a few guys. They brought in some younger names. They brought in
Yeah.
Galchenyuk. I think this year might be a good one for them. They took on the contract for Marian Hossa. I think that was just a nice cap dump there.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
I think they're starting to prepare for the upswing a little bit. So I do
Well,
expect good things from them this year. Obviously, saying playoffs might be a little bit too optimistic, but definitely some
well,
some progression there.
like anything, and hockey is probably the most random sport, but never say never, bro.
Mm,
Arizona Coyotes, they could be first Pacific.
okay, relax, fuck.
I don't know why I'm giving them so much hope. I do like the additions they brought in, and I do believe, from knowing that they traded Galchenyuk for Domi, I do feel like Galchenyuk might have his best NHL year to date.
Hmm.
He's a very offensively skilled player. Defensively, he's more lost than a baby puppy in a zoo
Okay, good one.
on his first day there. I don't know why they have baby puppies in the zoo. I don't know what zoo. I don't know what zoo you go to, bro. I don't know. But I do think, I do think with him on first line power play, playing with Keller, a couple other big names. I do think he's going to have his best season so far. I think Keller's just going to keep on improving.
Hmm.
He led the team with points, I believe. Let me see here, with 65, which if you were to put Clayton Keller on the Penguins,
Yep.
on St. Louis, on any stacked team, 100%, I believe he'd be an 80-point guy.
Hmm.
I actually believe he'd be a point a game player.
Okay,
Um,
fair enough.
like a lot of the bottom feeder teams, there's a lot of minuses in the plus minus category.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
which is hard not to do when you're on a
exactly my point.
shitty
He
team.
was only a -7,
Okay, okay.
which it's still bad. But on a team that is that bad, to be only -7, kind of there's a lot of room for improvement, obviously, but it kind of shows he's on the way there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you know, so Clayton Keller, top player there. Then they got Derek Stepan, number 2. And boy, oh boy, I think they need a lot of offense because if Derek Stepan is your number 2,
I mean, yeah.
I never liked him in New York. I thought they played him way too much in positions that he just wasn't cut out for. I found they had a lot more offensively skilled players there that could have handled some more responsibility on the power play.
Hmm.
So
But he's a
him
veteran
moving
guy,
to
like he's
yeah,
used to winning. Like he's been a part of a winning culture in New York for such a long time. I think he doesn't
good
only
point.
bring a veteran presence, but I think he also brings just like knowledge to the younger guys and kind of teaching them how to deal with
Hmm.
the swings of a season. And think about it. All these young guys on Arizona have not been a part of a winning culture unless they were in their junior days. And the team does look a lot different with Richard Panik there, Galchenyuk, obviously Stepan is there. They got Grabner, who they signed last free agency. I mean, if Dylan Strome can come out of I don't know what has been wrong with him. He has not turned out to be the player they initially thought. So if he can come out and have an impactful season, you got Christian Dvorak. I don't know, man. I like their roster by just looking at it right now. At face value, I really like what I see. They got Jalmerson on the back end, Jason Demers, OEL. I mean, dude, on paper they don't have a bad team.
Yeah. Yep. Well, just to go off of that, they brought in Antti Ranta as well,
Yeah,
which I know we're kind of going backwards here. We go forwards, D, and then goalie. But like you said, they brought in some good players, and Antti Ranta was in at the beginning of the year. He still had an above 500 record, though, at 21-17. So they might be on the up and up this year. I still don't believe they're a playoff contender,
which is fair.
But I also do believe that opposite of maybe the Ducks and some older teams, they're very young and they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I believe so
Right.
too. Yeah.
So I guess they finished last in their division. They can only go up.
hmm
Out of the 18 or other 7 teams in their division, who do you see maybe being above them or below them? Sorry.
Uh, it's hard to tell because again Arizona has been at the bottom for so long. But I think Vancouver, without a doubt, is not going to do very well.
No.
So I think it's almost a given in my opinion that they're going to finish ahead of them. I'm still not too sure what to make of Calgary,
It's
but
odd, huh?
it's very odd. It's a very I mean, it's the NHL is so hard to gauge from year to year. But at the end of the day, you got 8 teams. You know that the Vegases and the San Jose's are going to finish atop that division. Like I mentioned in the Anaheim preview, I think Anaheim's going to slip. I think LA's going to slip. But is Arizona going to climb as much as those 2 teams slip? I don't know. I do think there is potential there that Arizona might be in the discussion for a wild card position at the end of the year. Edmonton, again, we bring up Cam Talbot again. They rely so heavily on him.
Mhm.
I'm not worried about Draisaitl and McDavid putting up points and helping them win games. But if Cam Talbot doesn't stop that puck, Edmonton might finish below Arizona next year. I mean, like I said, I'm really high on Edmonton, but I could be, just a bit of a bit. It might be a bit of a bias because I've always been a McDavid guy and I've always cheered for Edmonton. Um, dude, this division, as much as it's always been so top heavy and like front loaded, I think this year it's going to be closer than it's been um, in the last decade or so. Like this is it's going to open up, I think.
I agree with you there. I do believe they might finish, or they will finish above the Canucks.
hmm
They might finish above the Oilers or the Flames. Sorry, and maybe try and beat out the Oilers, Kings, and Ducks for even a wild card spot.
hmm
I don't believe their division is the toughest. I do believe the Central is even more aggressive.
Right.
I believe, though, that they're the toughest in terms of uh, uh, size and weight on the other teams. So, like you said, when Toronto and the Habs go out west and they play the Ducks, the Sharks, the Kings, the Knights, for me at least, I'm expecting an 0-4, 0-5 sweep.
Yeah.
just because of those teams' abilities to just run you into the ground. After getting off the plane, you're jet lagged as F. You have time difference out the yin yang. You got to wake up the next day, and God forbid you're playing on a Saturday, so you're practically playing at like 10 or 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's just so tough to win out there. Now, that's for the Eastern Conference teams. These teams in their division, they have the same time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Something I
frames.
didn't really consider.
I still think though it's just so tough for any team to win out there.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's what we think. That's where they're going to finish next year. Moving on to their standout players.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to either put the team on their back or even go the opposite direction, cause them to just
You know
engulf
what,
in
man?
flames?
As a lifetime Leaf fan, I've never been a fan of any Habs players or former Habs players. I think Galchenyuk is gonna light it up. I think he's gonna have. I think he's gonna have. Dude, I'll say it right now. Hot take. I think he's gonna get 30 goals this year. I'm gonna go bold. I'm saying 30 goals for the kid. I think he's gonna find the right fit, the right position, the right spot in the lineup. I mean, I know right now he's not slated to be a first line guy. I just think he's going to be that type of player that they rely on more and more as the year goes on.
Right.
Maybe I'm just being, I'm living in fantasy land, but I do think he's going to have a big year. And apart from that, dude, if not the team captain, I think Ekman Larsson's going to have a hell of a year. Last year, a bit, still 14 goals last year, but I do think this year he might get to 20 and just be one of those amazing defensemen that every team really wants.
Yeah. So a player for me is going to be Duclair.
Duclair.
Local boy.
Yeah.
Grew up in the big MTL. Drafted to New York. But he had 9 goals last year and 6 assists.
Yo, my dude.
What?
He's on Columbus, isn't he?
Is he? Yo, look, where is this bitch? Let me look him up. Let me look this bitch up.
He was on Arizona last year,
What?
bro.
Come on.
You're sending out players on the wrong team.
Yo, what is this website? Come on, internet.
Oh, that's good.
So my standout player is Thomas Ryder. You look at Arizona and what the fuck? What are you looking at?
He signed with the Oilers.
Oh my god!
What are you doing?
My standout player is Dylan Strome. Now I don't even have his fucking points up here. What the fuck? I'm fucked up.
Oh god, my stomach
Hell
hurts.
out of here, Dylan Strome.
Oh,
He's not even on this list because he's so bad.
Yo, he had 9 points last year.
Okay, Dylan Strome, 9 points?
Yeah.
I'm going to end it right there. Bro, you got to be fucking better. Step it up. You're 6'3". 200 pounds. You're telling me you can only got 9 points?
Yeah, he needs to be honest, I don't know if they saw him as being a big part of the roster last year. I don't think if I remember correctly, I don't think they kept him at the start of the year. Is that possible?
Don't tell me they traded him.
No, they didn't trade him. I just mean I don't think they kept him up in the NHL. No, right here. So he played 21 games last year. If I remember correctly, he came to training camp and they sent him down. He just didn't make the cut, and they brought him back later in the year. If I remember correctly.
He played for the Tucson Roadrunners.
Yeah. The Tucson Red Runners.
It's their AHL team.
He finished off the season, I believe. He played.
Okay.
But his first game was okay. Yeah, so he played 2 games in October. He played a good amount of games in November, December, and then he only came back in March. So I don't know if they sent him
Ooh.
down or if he got hurt, but definitely not a great year for him.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely this year I would expect more out of Dylan Strome.
Well, okay. So I shouldn't be running my mouth about him because 50 games in the NHL at 53 points.
Yeah,
Now it's not the NHL, but to put up a point, to be a point a game player in the NHL, he deserves a little bit more play time in the NHL for sure.
yeah,
That's my breakout player. Yours was who? Galchenyuk. That's a wrap for this episode. Thanks for
yeah. So
tuning in.
wait, do you see them?
Oh.
You don't see them making the playoffs? You think
Zero chance.
zero chance? Okay.
Like negative.
I'm gonna say that they're gonna surprise some people, and they might be in a close to in the God damn it, the wild card battle as of like early February, and then I think they'll fall off the wagon and
Okay.
collapse.
Okay. Well then,
Thanks for the laughs, buddy.
no problem. I'd like to thank our sponsors again.
No, enough with the sponsors.
Diet Coke.
No,
Root to Bath.
just root beer.
Well, I don't know what the fuck. Root beer makes root beer. God damn.
Oh, catch you later.